All right, everybody. This is day 371 of the Daily Bible Reading with Linda Weber. So I'm glad all of you tuned in. None of you tuned in so far. That's great. I have a very full audience tonight. Let me see here. We are on day 371. That means we're reading 2 Chronicles 4, Psalm 9, and Acts 22. Acts 22. Still in the book of Acts. I love it because we are the book of Acts church. So if you're having sound problems, let me know. Or if I'm having sound problems, I should say. I mean, I don't think I am.
Sound problems,
nope,
let me know.
I'm not. I'm glad to hear that. Really glad to hear that. All right. Okay, I think everybody's probably out enjoying the nice weather, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and read anyway because we are on day 371. Still haven't made it through the Old Testament yet. That's amazing. I think it's amazing. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start reading. We're going to start in, we're going to read out of the Living Bible, 2 Chronicles chapter 4. He also made a bronze altar, 30 feet long, 30 feet high, and 15 feet wide. Then he forged a huge round tank, 15 feet across from rim to rim. Now remember, Solomon's building the temple, okay? But he hired people to do it, obviously. I mean, it says Solomon built the temple. Solomon was in charge of building the temple. This is Harambe's work here. The rim stood 7.5 feet above the floor and was 45 feet around. The tank was encircled at its base by 2 rows of gourd designs cast as part of the tank. The tank stood on 12 metal oxen facing outward. 3 faced north, 3 faced west, 3 faced south, and 3 faced east. The walls of the tank were 5 inches thick, flaring out like the cup of a lily. It held 3,000 barrels of water. 3,000. He also constructed 10 vats for water to wash the offerings, 5 to the right of the huge tank and 5 to the left. The priest used the tank and not the vats for their own washing. Carefully following God's instructions, you know, God is a very specific God. Even when you're asking for prayer for something, you know, I don't like unspoken prayer requests, you know. I mean, God's a specific God. Obviously, he knows your thoughts. He knows what you need, but, you know, be specific, you know. Let me see here. Not sure what's going on with this. Okay. I'm going to switch over to my personal page. See if I can see anybody over on that side. All right. Just tell me hi. Tell me where you're watching from when you get on here. Okay. So carefully following God's instructions, he then cast 10 gold lampstands and placed them in the temple, 5 against each wall. He also built 10 tables and placed 5 against each wall on the right and left. And he molded 100 solid gold bowls. Then he constructed a court for the priests, also the public court, and overlaid the doors of these courts with bronze. The huge tank was in the southeast corner of the outer room of the temple. Harambe also made the necessary pots, shovels, and basins for use in connection with the sacrifices. Harambe. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Day 371, and we're in 2 Chronicles chapter 4. Hey, so Sam Green is going to be doing the worship this Saturday in Worcester, so if you guys can come out. 6 o'clock. Valley College Grange Hall. 6 o'clock. Let's see here. So at last he completed the work assigned to him by King Solomon. The construction of the 2 pillars, the 2 flared capitals on the tops of the pillars, the 2 sets of chains on the capitals, the 400 pomegranates hanging from the 2 sets of chains on the capitals, the bases for the vats and the vats themselves, the huge tank and the 12 oxen under it, the pots, shovels, and flesh hooks. This skillful craftsman, Haramabi, made all of the above-mentioned items for King Solomon using polished bronze. The king did the casting at the clay banks of the Jordan Valley between Succoth and Zereda. Great quantities of bronze were used, too heavy to weigh. Solomon commanded that all the furnishings of the temple, the utensils, the altar, and the table for the bread of the presence must be made of gold. Also the lamps and lampstands, the floral decorations, tongs, lamp snuffers, basins, spoons, and fire pans, all were made of solid gold. Even the doorway of the temple, the main door, and the inner doors to the Holy of Holies were overlaid with gold. And that is 2 Chronicles chapter 4. Yeah, I was happy, Tracy, that he wanted to come over there. It's gonna be a great night. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm reading out of the Living Bible, and we're going to jump over here to Psalm chapter 9. Oh Lord, I will praise you with all my heart and tell everyone about the marvelous things you do. You know, when you are excited about God and you're in a personal relationship with Him and you're excited about Him, you're going to tell everybody. Just like if there's a new restaurant and you love the food and you're going to go tell everybody. So I will be glad, yes, filled with joy because of you, filled with joy. I will sing your praises, O Lord God, above all gods. My enemies will fall back and perish in your presence. You have vindicated me. You have endorsed my work, declaring from your throne that it is good. You have rebuked the nations and destroyed the wicked, blotting out their names forever and ever. O enemies of mine, you are doomed forever. The Lord will destroy your cities. Even the memory of them will disappear. But the Lord lives on forever. He sits upon his throne to judge justly the nations of the world. All who are oppressed may come to him. He is a refuge for them. In their times of trouble, all those who know your mercy, Lord, will count on you for help. For you have never yet forsaken those who trust in you. Oh, sing out your praises to the God who lives in Jerusalem. Tell the world about his unforgettable deeds. And that's going to happen in the millennium. The glory of the Lord is going to cover the earth. That's what it says in Isaiah 11. The knowledge of the Lord, or the glory of the Lord, will cover the earth as the waters do the seas. And that's going to happen. There's going to be the greatest evangelism missionary thing happen during the millennium when Jesus restores Israel. So he who avenges murder has an open ear to those who cry to him for justice. He does not ignore the prayers of men in trouble when they call to him for help. And now, O Lord, have mercy on me. See how I suffer at the hands of those who hate me. Lord, snatch me back from the jaws of death. Save me so that I can praise you publicly before all the people at Jerusalem's gates and rejoice that you have rescued me. The nations fall into the pitfalls they have dug for others. They're going to fall into them. The trap they set has snapped on them. The Lord is famous for the way he punishes the wicked in their own snares. They're talking about how we're destroying the earth and we're destroying, Listen, this earth is going to be here. Like Jesus is going to come back. The second coming, he's going to reign in Jerusalem for 1,000 years. So they're just full of hot air, There's some crazy people trying to run this world, The wicked shall be sent away to hell. And that's not to the grave. There's a difference between the grave and hell. Hell is a place of torment for eternity, Because if you go to the grave, if everybody just went to the grave, which everybody's going to, unless you're alive when the rapture happens, then that means that would be your punishment. But no, death means eternal separation from God. Eternal. for eternity. You'll be separated from him forever. The plan that God had for your life is no more. And it's over. You're going to be tormented for eternity. We don't want anybody to go to hell. Your worst enemy, if you have one, you don't want them to go there. There's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. We don't want anybody to go to hell. That's why it's such an urgency to go out and tell people and get them connected up in a relationship with Jesus, you know? People just, they live like they're never going to die. It's the most amazing thing to me. Verse 17, the wicked shall be sent away to hell. This is the fate of all the nations forgetting the Lord. For the needs of the needy shall not be ignored forever. The hopes of the poor shall not always be crushed. O Lord, arise and judge and punish the nations. Don't let them defy you. Make them tremble in fear. Put the nations in their place until at last they know they are but puny men. Yeah. That is Psalm chapter 9. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles is where we're at. How's Tracy doing? Hey, Tracy, I was going to ask you, the tornadoes or the straight line winds that went through the other day, did that affect the place where you work at all? I was wondering. I drove down through there today and it looked pretty nasty. The damage that has been done. That one house, man, roof tore right off of it. Just wondering, you know, if there was any damage. Hey, Mary, how are you? How is Mary doing today? I just got done putting some signs up. I listed a house today, and so was out pounding until I feel like my hand is bruised. Jamie went with me though, so that was good. She helped me put the signs in the ground. I don't know what I'd do without that girl. She has really been a blessing in my life. Really, it's like another kid, you know, like one of my kids. She is the same age as my oldest son. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm not sure where everybody's at tonight. I don't know. Let's see. Let me check the destinations here. How's Mary doing? Are you working hard or hardly working or what? You know, I know you work hard. All right, let's go with the New Testament. We're going to finish up here in Acts chapter 22. And I know Facebook hates all of us, you know. They hate us. Cash App is getting to be a bad thing. So I'm going to have to find another platform. I pretty much use Cash App and for the ministry, but you know, Dr. Rodney Howard-Browne, they have froze his account, and Jonathan Shuttlesworth, you know, they froze both of their accounts, and only God knows who else. Well, somebody local here that I know that's in business, they froze her account. So they don't want, you're not allowed to have any free speech, you know, so any Christians, they're going to, I don't know. It's just, we got to find a different platform, guys. Even this Facebook, like, you know, I say all kinds of stuff I shouldn't, and it's to my detriment. I probably should be quiet. I mean, say it in a different way, maybe, because they're coming down. They're really starting to. We're entering into communism, and if you haven't noticed. Oh, I shouldn't have said that word either. Oh well. But that's exactly where we're headed. We need a great awakening, or we're done, guys. So that's why we really need to support the gospel. We need to get the gospel out there because it's not looking good. So I notice even with my live streams and stuff, the notifications aren't getting out there because they're just it's just terrible. I'm actually going to check out YouTube a little bit more. I know they're pretty bad too, but I'm going to see about just live streaming directly from YouTube and seeing how that works. I am on other media like Truth Social. That's Trump's platform. If you haven't done that yet, you might want to go there to Truth Social and sign up there, because what if you get on here one day and I'm gone, and the River Church is gone, and everybody that, spoke out against anything is gone? Well, you guys will be gone too then. But what if? Where are you going to find us? You can always go to my website, spministries.com. I don't know. We need to connect up somewhere else, because I feel like, especially as we get closer to the election, I feel like they're really going to crack down on us Christians, because Satan knows his time is short and he's going to do what he thinks he can do. All right, let's go to Acts chapter 22. I'm reading now the New King James Version. And don't forget, this Saturday, May 18th, 2024 at 6 o'clock, I'm going to be at the Valley College Grange Hall in Wooster, Ohio. And Samuel Green is going to be joining us. He's going to be leading the worship. So it's going to be good. You don't want to miss it. Sam and I flow really good together. So don't miss it. Brethren and fathers, hear my defense before you now. And when they heard that he spoke to them in the Hebrew language. Okay. And they kept all the more silent. Then he said, I am indeed a Jew. Okay. So this is Paul talking. I am indeed a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel. Now, he was the best instructor in the Jewish world, Gamaliel was, and Paul was brought up under him, or Saul was his name then. Gamaliel taught according to the strictness of our father's law, and was zealous toward God as you all are today. I persecuted Christians to the death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women. And as also the high priest bears me witness, and all the council of the elders, from whom I also received letters to the brethren, and went to Damascus to bring in chains even those who were there to Jerusalem to be punished. Now it happened as I journeyed and came near Damascus at about noon, suddenly a great light from heaven shone around me. This is his Damascus Road experience. And I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? So I answered, Who are you, Lord? And he said to me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting. And those who were with me indeed saw the light and were afraid, but they did not hear the voice of him who spoke to me. So I said, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said to me, Arise and go into Damascus, and there you will be told all things which are appointed for you to do. And since I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand of those who were with me, I came into Damascus. Then a certain Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good testimony with all the Jews who dwelt there, came to me, and he stood and said to me, Brother Saul, receive your sight. And he not only received his sight, but he was saved, and he was filled with the Spirit and baptized, So, Brother Saul, receive your sight. And at that same hour, I looked up at him. Then he said, The God of our fathers has chosen you, that you should know his will and see the just one and hear the voice of his mouth. For you will be his witness to all men of what you have seen and heard. And now why are you waiting? Arise and be baptized and wash away your sins, calling on the name of the Lord. Now it happened when I returned to Jerusalem and was praying in the temple that I was in a trance, and saw him saying to me, Make haste and get out of Jerusalem quickly, for they will not receive your testimony concerning me. So I said, Lord, they know that in every synagogue I imprisoned and beat those who believe on you. And when the blood of your martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by, consenting to his death and guarding the clothes of those who were killing him. Remember, they stoned Stephen, and Saul was standing there, consenting to it all, So then he said to me, Depart, for I will send you far from here to the Gentiles. So Paul's call was mainly to the Gentiles. Next to Jesus, Paul is the great founder of the Christian church. Okay, Jesus is the head of the church, and he used Paul greatly to found the church, you know. And they listened to him until this word, and then they raised their voices and said, "Away with such a fellow from the earth, for he is not fit to live." Then as they cried out and tore off their clothes and threw dust into the air, the commander ordered him to be brought into the barracks and said that he should be examined under scourging so that he might know why they shouted so against him. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said to the centurion who stood by, "Is it lawful for you to scourge a man who is a Roman and uncondemned?" When the centurion heard that, he went and told the commander, saying, "Take care what you do, for this man is a Roman." Then the commander came and said to him, "Tell me, are you a Roman?" He said, "Yes." The commander answered, "With a large sum I obtained this citizenship." And Paul said, "But I was born a citizen." Then immediately those who were about to examine him withdrew from him, and the commander was also afraid after he found out that he was a Roman and because he had bound him, because they were not allowed to do that to a Roman citizen unless they had a fair trial. So they were in danger of getting the death penalty for doing that to Saul. And Saul said, "Hey, I'm a Roman citizen." The next day, because he wanted to know for certain why he was accused by the Jews, he released him from his bonds and commanded the chief priest and all their council to appear, and brought Paul down and set him before them. And that's it for chapter 22. Tomorrow we'll read chapter 23 and see what happens to Paul. Well, guys, I guess that's it for day 371. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll be back on here tomorrow with day 372. 372. We're moving right along, but we still haven't finished the Old Testament. So, oh well. Hey, God bless you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow with day 372.